Our speaker tonight is very qualified to talk about the importance of an introduction. In 1980, after competing in the Toastmasters World Championship, Vic ventured out into the world of professional public speaking. He soon found out how important it was to have a good introduction. In Toastmasters, we get a chance every presentation to prepare our own introduction. As our speaker will outline, this is as important as the speech. Many of us are just starting out in Toastmasters. This educational session will set our course to excel. Please welcome our speaker, Vic Lindo, with his speech, "An introduction is too important to be left to chance." Mr. Vic Lindo.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, it was very interesting. In 1980, I had the chance to hear Dr. Kenneth McFarland speak at the International Toastmasters Convention. He received the Golden Gavel Award, which was given to people that have made a significant contribution in the world of public speaking. I can remember being struck by his admonition that introduction is too important to be left to chance. I went, whoa, I better hear this. He wants to make sure that you write out the introduction as though you were the person that was doing the introducing. The other thing he said is, and I learned this early, yes, I make it out as though, Michael, as though you're going to do the introduction, and I write it out from your perspective. And then I say, Michael, when you introduce me, be sure you eliminate the fact that I prepared it. Because, you know, even though that's obvious, I've had the odd one go, oh yeah, well, let me see. And sometimes they stumble over the words. And I go, oh no. So that's what Kenneth McFarland said. And these are before internet, before email. He would send the introduction in advance by mail. And he would state clearly, please read it exactly the way I've written it. And don't say where you got it. Now, I love him. So you talk about attention to detail. He would then bring the introduction with him, which is what I did today with Brian, but Brian had his. But he also said, make sure that he said typeface, it's font now. Make sure the font is large enough. Because the person introducing you at the Rotary most likely needs glasses and isn't prepared to wear them. That's called attention to detail. You make sure that it's large, make sure it's double spaced, make sure it only comes down to 3/4 of the page, a few little technical things. But what do you put in that introduction? There is a Toastmasters rule of thumb, and I have learned to live with it. It says 3 key things. Why this Toastmaster, or why this speaker? Why this speaker? To this audience. At this time. Now, if you heard the introduction at the beginning, I used that in the introduction that Brian so kindly read. Exactly the way I wanted it. When you say, why this speaker? That's when your credentials are delivered. That's when your credentials, why should we be listening to this guy? I have been to too many conventions where the person doing the introduction reads off some long biography of the person. It doesn't really give their specific credentials. But the other interesting thing is, if you've got your credentials in there, it gives you a chance to leapfrog on those credentials. So you say what you want in there, and then you can use that in your speech. To this audience, what is the reason for this audience to even listen to your speech? Well, you've got to get that in there. Because this speaker has all these credentials. Not only that, he's prepared this speech for you. Because he knows who we are. Things like that are into your introduction. Now, does that make it a lot more exciting than reading off some biography? And it also makes it exciting because the speaker doesn't have to get in and then start giving his biography. He's already got that introduction. And the final part is, why would we listen to this person now? So, it's why this speaker, to this audience, at this time. And if you'll notice in the presentation when I said I'm giving this session on why an introduction, because many of us are new Toastmasters, and this is important for us to learn that now. Every time we do a role in Toastmasters, every role, we get the opportunity to prepare an introduction. Think about that. If an introduction is too important to be left to chance, think about how many opportunities we have to prepare an introduction. It's amazing. My question is, are we doing it? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the final kicker. If you prepare that introduction, and you do that first, it gives you a very good idea of where you're heading in the speech. And I consider that to be a powerful motivation before you give your speech. Why have I got any credentials to give this speech? What will the audience want to listen to me for? And what's the reason for doing it now? Follow that little formula, and as a Toastmaster, you will raise your game immensely. You will have the success that you're looking for in Toastmasters.
Got success.
Did you hit the stop button there, Michael?